Okay, let me show you what we just completed before the break. If you look at the board here, we can now place and we get a animation effect that's random particle effect for each one of the pieces that we place. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add an effect for when a line is constructed. So for example, right here, when we place this piece, we want all of these pieces to bust out to the left. And so that way, if you make multiple lines, you just get multiple numbers of stars. Everything is using a pool management system up here. It's interesting, it's showing me that 3 are still active. That is a little concerning, actually. Why is that happening? If I look at my particle system, when we place a piece, it's not turning itself off. It is after a long enough period of time. Let's try one more time just to see, because that's weird. I mean, that's not how programming works. The duration is 1 second. So we're going to add a console or debug.log turn off here. And we'll see what happens. When effect goes down, looks like it it's only happening every other piece. Like that one, it worked. That one, it didn't. I'm having a hard time with how that is working because there's no other management on that script. Turn off. Goes up. Didn't turn off. So I'm going to change this to be a public virtual void, and we're going to call it a init. And then I'm going to add up here a protected coroutine called animation coroutine. And we'll add a public override dispose method. And we'll say if my animation coroutine does not equal to null, then we want to say animation coroutine, and we want to do a stop coroutine on it. And then I want to do a destroy. We don't need to destroy it, but we can just do a animation coroutine equals null. So now we can set the animation coroutine here. And now, when this gets instantiated back over here in the game manager, this effect, and I place it here, I want to do if my effect is a effect piece place particle script, then I want to do c.init. So when I take this out of the pool, I'm going to do it as a type, where my type is a type of mono behavior. Interesting. Okay. Okay, I know what this is upset about, so let's go back. So back over here, when I take this object from a pool, we're going to get this effect, which is a game object. And now what I want to do is I want to say effect dot get component, and it's a type we want to get the component for the effect piece particle script. And I want to just init on that. That's it. So when I run this, we get one animation. It turns off. We get the next animation. It turns off. Now it's fixed. So now when I place these things, all of these effects should be in the pool manager and just turn themselves off. Perfect. Okay, so let's work on our second animation. If I look here at a line burst effect, I want to add another particle system on it. And we'll look at this in 3D so that I know what I'm looking at. And this one looks like it's set as a cone. I'm kind of okay with that. Let's go ahead and change its positioning. So its rotation, I want it to be rotated to the right. Well, I'm actually looking at it like this, right? So I want it to be on the left. Now I don't want this to go up. So maybe what we want is a edge. Oops. I messed up that camera pretty good. Let's go try to fix that. So I think this is close to what we want, because this is just on one edge. So we can put this at 0. Now it's going out of the camera. And then finally the Z should be the rotation that I'm actually interested in. So if I dump this at -90. Hey there, Miguel. How are you doing? Welcome from Spain are you doing? Catalan Spain? Or Spain, Spanish Spain? Okay. And now one of the things I want to do is I want to have a force. So, you know, what I could do is I could just copy this and modify it. So if I look at this, we're going to change this to be looping. And I want this to be a shape of a edge. My rotation and this is being screwed up because of this Y. Actually, that looks okay. So the edge is what I want. Now, I want to say that the direction of this is rotated by like 90 degrees. And when I do that, I need to slow down the velocity. To be something like that. Now I see that line going straight down, so this rotation is no good. I want to do my rotation here. Because right now, it's positioning us straight up. This is changing the wrong axis. We're going to put this thing at negative 90 degrees. And now we're going to change the scaling. Still not looking right. This is totally screwed up here. So let's use maybe something like a rectangle. It gives us a little more defined. And then I'll rotate it down. So that's looking a little better. If I was to look at my velocity, let's do 3 and 10. 3 and 8. Hey there. How's it going there, Phase Banana Army? That seems like a little much on the top side, so maybe like 5. And when I look at my sizing, My X sizing should be 0 and my Y sizing now should be like 2. Maybe like 1. And we can change the speed of the animation down here. Well, I want to change how many particles are emitted. To 15. Phase Banana Army, we run a family-friendly culture in here, so apologies. We are a game dev stream. We also make web applications. We focus primarily on software development questions, also personal development. But definitely, we do encourage trolls, but trolls that have, I don't know, some kind of purpose. So if you have any questions, by all means, just troll them out, and we will happily answer them. So this looks good. It's kind of bursting the way I want. It's not exactly right. Let me see if I can add some kind of noise to it. No, we don't want that. That messes everything up. Let's see if I could do a rotation by speed on the Z-axis by 45. So let's change our rotation by speed to be a random between 0 and 90. Let's say 360 or just 90. The horizontal velocity is a little fast on this one right now. So let's change that over here on my rotation by speed. Or I'm sorry, the horizontal velocity is here under velocity over lifetime. Let's drop it to a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 4. And then I want to change the size over the lifetime by the speed. I think I just want the size to have a variation, and it does. So I think there's a way in my... Where is it? There's a burst I'm looking for. Well, let's just start with this. And we're going to call this a line burst effect. So let's go ahead and add a new script for this. We're going to say effect line burst script. And in this, we want the animation coroutine, same thing. We want to have a particle effect, same thing. One thing I want to have different here is my init, is we want to have a new enum called direction, which is going to have left, right, up, or down. Okay. And what this is going to do is when we have an effect line burst, it's going to change that direction, which is in particle system velocity over lifetime. So here, in my particle effect, we're going to say velocity over lifetime, and it's called linear y and perfect. That's a min-max curve. So we want to get our curve constant min and also our constant max. So up here, we're going to add a public float velocity min x and a public float velocity max x. And we want to set the minimum to, it doesn't matter. Okay, so our constant minimum here, actually we do want this to have values, so we'll say 2 and 4. So my constant minimum is equal to, can I set this? Yeah. Velocity min x times a minus 1. Just that. And then the same one for max. What's wrong here? That's a float. That looks right. Is this a set? It's a set. Fallen Hope, it's good to have you back with us, buddy. You started the stream when I left for sound check. I'm here now, though. No worries, man. How are you? Thanks for coming and checking us out. I'm having a hard time here. We want to do a set velocity over lifetime particle effect Unity and script. So new particle system dot we want to do a mid-max gradient. Is this going to work? Probably not, huh? All right, let's take a look here. Okay, let's try this one. It says that we're going to do a particle effect, and I want to do a interesting. Okay, all right. Let's do a y multiplier times -1. No, that doesn't like me. Is this a variable? Is that all this is upset at me about? It's get only. So as soon as I assigned it to a variable, now it started letting me use it. Okay. So before I go any further here, I'm going to look at where I'm instantiating this, which is in my game manager. And here what I want to do is I want to create the same thing, except I'm going to call this a line effect. Line burst. And we want to do this at my block.transform.position. And now dump this on my block.transform.position. And then we're going to init my burst line. And I want to do this currently from a random.range from 0 to my enums.getLength get names of my type of direction dot length, and I want to do this as a direction, and this is a Unity engine dot random dot range. Why is this not working? Just a second. Let's just do it again here. There we go. Oh, I see what's failing. It was just that this whole time. There we go. It's because this direction is coming from the wrong place. It's that one. All right, let's try it again. So this time on this particle effect, we're going to have a new script called line burst. We want to add in our particle effect. Save this as a prefab. And then over in the prefab pool manager, we want to add in my line burst effect. As a line burst. So now the effects manager adds it in. When I'm looking for something with a line, right here, we should now get a horizontal explosions. So it says this was not placed. So it wasn't able to find the line burst script. That looks right. So let's add that. And let's attach to Unity. What? Because this is called line effect. Now it should work. Boom. Now, what happened here is that the direction was always left. So if I look at the line burst effect again, its particle effect is set to a velocity of y of 2, y of 4. So if it's left, I want to say it's this times minus 1. Let's try it again. You guys are quiet out there. How are you doing today? Here we go. And half of them are going one way and half of them are going the other way. It looked like. We could test that by hi, would you show us the publish project process of the project? Do you mean publish out to Google or to WebGL? Or just publish in general? Like what is it that you're looking to see? Because yes, we can. We have a published product out there currently on Google Play. It's kind of hard to see. If I look here, my velocity over lifetime, they're both set to 2 and 4. So the direction that you want to go, we only want to go to the left right now. So I see it go in both directions here. Here I see this linear speed went to -4. But the positive is still at 4. So what you want this to be is a y constant min. Well, that's weird programming. I've never seen stuff do that before. There we go. So we're going to say that this is velocity over lifetime y. So like that. Hey there, Andreas Loss. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, make sure you pop them into the chat. Appreciate that, man. Make sure you check out our videos at youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Hey, Andre Lee. What are you doing? I'm currently adding in particle effects animations into the game, which is we just put up on pixelhorrorstudios.com. So this is a float. So what I'd really like to do is this. So let's see if that works. We're expecting all lines now to go only to the left. Looks like they all went to the right. The velocity never changed. If I look at this again, we want to do a set velocity over lifetime Unity particle with script. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. This is a min-max curve. So can I just make a new min-max curve? For a velocity min times -1 and a velocity max in the y direction. So everything at the moment is set to only go left or right. Let's say we only want to let things go to the left. I know that this is a -1 on the y. Let's try it. So when I look at this, my velocity over lifetime is -4.2. So we're not setting the min and the max correctly. Because your minimum is also times -1. Which means for these other types, this one would be the same except like that. And then for up, we'll deal with these in a moment. Now they all go to the left. So it's working now. So back over here, we can add in our other directions. For right, good. Now we need to do the same for up. And we want to do this from the X. Now, because of how this is rotated, I'm going to say that it's going to go left is going to be up. So that'll be positive. So we'll see how I do. This should go up. Those ones went down and to the right. And then also on this line burst, we want to change it so naturally the particle system doesn't apply a velocity over time. Perfect. Except when it goes up, we want to give it a chance to go way up. We'll change these values as we go, but we'll leave it like that. And then this one is our down, which will just be that. We'll uncomment everything. So now we should get explosions on all sides and slightly more going up because of the gravity. Here we go. Looks great. We can reduce the vertical one a little bit here to be like four and 4. I really liked 5 though, to be honest. And we can always change more of these properties as we need to based on our criteria. So when this is called, what I want to do is look to see. Oh, okay, I have to think about this for a second. So you place a line in. It starts to evaluate each individual block. It makes lines on each side for that. And so now what I'm doing is I'm looking at all of the blocks. But back where this was initially calculated, you're placing this piece you're checking for lines and when you do that you have an actual position of the block. So on my line struct I want to put like a public vector2 called block position. And on here, I want to use the position like that. So now what I want to do is I want to say if my item, which is called a line, dot block position dot x is less than my block dot transform dot position dot x, then it's going to the right. So we're going to have a direction. Else, if my line dot block position dot x is greater than or equals to my block dot transform dot position dot x, we don't want this. We want to say this is going to be the direction equals left. Else, if my line dot block position dot y is greater than my block dot transform dot position dot y, that means that the line block is greater than the other block. So this is down. And the last one is up. Hey, Spardely, is it just me, the stream lagging or locked up? Not seeing any movement. I hear the voice, but the video is static. Is that anybody else? Maybe you need to reload. That's my guess. Okay, let's try that. So when we add the blocks and make a line, they should all go to the left. And this time they should go to the, half of them should go to the right and half should go to the left. Perfect. Well, this is kind of fun. And all this is being done with a pool manager, so I don't need to worry about my number of instances on the board. It's kind of fun to watch them go. And that's the end. One more game. Where does it want me to? Oh, there. There it is. Hey there, Sigmofo. How are you doing? Yeah, man, I've been gone for a little bit. I came back, started a new project. We're on day 3 of it. If you want to play the demo, it's up at www.pixelhorrorstudios.com. We just finished adding in our particle effects for line busting. I think all of that should work because it's based on the number of blocks, so it should just expand as you get more blocks. When we come back, I'm going to take a short break. Yeah, you have the demo already. That's right, Johnny 5. It's already up there. I also have the Android one ready, but I don't want to put that one up until the game is fun. Which is what we're going to work on next. We're going to add in grouping. We're going to add in gems, spawning varieties, and then also a little bit more depth into the line score generations. So thanks for staying with me. I'll see you in just a little bit. We'll be back in 10-15 minutes. Enjoy the music, and thanks for staying with me. Alrighty.